My name is Nikki Soda, and I am the Membership and Advocacy Officer for NAATP. And I have the extreme privilege of talking with Sue Bright, who is the Executive Director for New Directions for Women. Do you mind giving us a little bit of history and kind of highlighting some of the wonderful things that you do there?
So, New Directions for Women was founded in 1977 by three very brave and courageous women. One of them, Pamela Wilder, stood up in a meeting of the Newport Junior League and announced that she was a recovering alcoholic. And what this area needed desperately was a place where women could heal and get well from their alcoholism. I think about how courageous that was in 1977 to do that when still today people struggle with their anonymity. So we were founded as a women's only treatment program in Costa Mesa, California. We're located 1 mile from the Back Bay, beautiful area for our women to heal and to get well. One of the things that I love is that we have an opportunity to provide a full continuum of care from a social model detox, residential treatment, partial day programming, intensive outpatient, and then what we all know is traditional outpatient, a combination of group and individual sessions for our women. We are trauma informed, and one of the things that I found very refreshing was the way that we work with the women from the very beginning, from almost the time of admission, once they're able to participate fully in the program, to work with them on their trauma. And our clinical director, Gina Tabrizi, defines trauma as anything less than nurturing. So many of our women, struggled to find that space of what was the trauma initially, but just having a much more relaxed feeling about it has given them the opportunity to open up in ways that possibly they hadn't previously. We all know that addiction affects women differently than it does men because of our physical body makeup. And, it's really nice to be able to offer women an extended length of stay so that they have the appropriate time that they need to get healthy and well.
One of the very nice things, Sue, that about your facility is the daycare. Do you mind talking a little bit about that?
So we treat women of all ages, 18 and older. We treat women in any trimester of their pregnancy. And we also offer where women can bring their children with them into treatment up through the age of 12. So in my almost 30 years of experience, I have watched many women leave treatment because of issues with childcare and family. And this is a wonderful opportunity for a woman to heal and for her children to heal along with her. Our daycare is open from 8 until 4 p.m. So our women enter into their treatment day fully ready to participate. And our child care coordinator works with the children, not only just in daily life skills, but she also works with the moms and helps them to be able to parent their children much differently. They're not always doing well with their parenting skills, may have lost that along the way somewhere. And this gives them an opportunity to really work on that in a safe, protected environment where they don't feel embarrassed or ashamed.
You would know this more than I. There is not very many treatment centers that offer that. Do you know how many in the country do that?
I know that the number is quite limited, which is, for us is a blessing in some ways because we are able to bring women from across the country into a safe, healing, nurturing environment.
I visit a lot of facilities, and New Directions for Women is one of those very special places that you can feel the healing when you walk there on the property. So you're in Costa Mesa, California, as you said. Can you talk a little bit about the things that you had to shift or pivot? I'm sure there was a number of them when COVID came about.
None of us were prepared for a global pandemic, not from a QI perspective for sure. So early on, it was truly hour by hour, day by day. What is the CDC recommending? What is NATAP saying are best practices? Spent hours and hours on face-to-face meetings to try and decipher what the best practices were. So one of the things that I felt very strongly about early on was we closed our campus down even before the rest of the state of California had closed down businesses. And I just felt that, you know, there's a heavy weight when you're the one who is responsible for not only the patients that you care for, but the staff as well. And ensuring their health, safety, and well-being was something I felt very strongly about. So early on, you know, we closed down campus. We weren't allowing any visitors on site. We stopped our women from going to outside meetings. Many of the outside activities where they were in a group setting, that we stopped those as well. And we also, I mean, in the early days, we didn't have access to COVID testing like we do now. You know, there was no rapid test. When you were able to find a test, because they were few and far between, it was taken like 10 days to get results back. So what we ended up doing was we took one of our houses and we turned it into a quarantine space where all of our new admissions were admitted into that space. Our staff were required to wear PPE, personal protective equipment, anytime they went in the house to service those women. And not until they had a negative COVID test did we allow them to enter into the community. So we were having to do things very creatively, you know, through the Zoom, initially through Zoom until other platforms popped up that were HIPAA compliant, and just work within our own community so that our women didn't feel any more isolated than everyone already was.
Well, I know that you did a number of things right, and that you were also part of a number of different dialogues there at the beginning between CEOs within the NAATP membership base. And so thank you for that. The Circle of Life fundraiser breakfast, which is your annual big event that is a very large fundraiser for you. And I was wanting to know if you could talk a little bit about the challenges of converting it to virtual because you were not able to do it in person, and maybe some of the positives and negatives that came about from that event.
So just literally 1 week before last year's event, we had to cancel, which was devastating because our fundraiser event as a nonprofit is what helps us to sustain our scholarship fund, allowing our women to remain in care for an appropriate amount of time that they need to get well and to heal. And so, last year was difficult, as it was for many people. This year, it wasn't until early January that we made the final decision that we needed to go virtual for the event this year. So it was finding a production company, looking for an MC, ensuring that people that we had lined up for last year's event were able and willing to still participate in the virtual event and filming that we did for the day of the event. And we had a very short amount of time to do that. We also had some staffing changes. So we have a brand new director of development, and she was very creative. One of the things I've always loved about the New Directions for Women staff is they're willing to jump in, pitch in as a staff, like a family, and what do we need to do? How can we do this? Some of the benefits, we had set for ourselves a goal of $400,000 for the event, which does not cover the cost of the scholarships that we offer through the year. Typically, we offer anywhere between $600,000 to $800,000 minimally of scholarship to women per year. So that just helps with some of those costs. So we raised to date about $364,000, which was absolutely wonderful. We did, thank goodness, have an angel donor who matched the first $150,000 that we had raised. We had somewhere around 450 individuals participate in this year's event. Our capacity for an in-person event is about 400. And 25% of our people that donated and participated in the event this year were from out of state, which is something that would not have been able to have happened if we were in person. I do think that there were challenges from a technology standpoint where some of the individuals who maybe are a little bit older that had participated with in-person events in the past were not comfortable or didn't quite know how, believe it or not. There are still people who are not tech savvy, and don't feel comfortable in that platform and are worried about everybody seeing them, not realizing that it was truly an event where they were able to watch, but nobody was going to be able to see them. We had many brand new donors, first-time donors, which has only been able to broaden those that we're able to touch and share the message about who New Directions for Women is and what we have to offer.
Thank you so much for that nice recap. Are people still able to donate to New Directions to help you reach that goal? How do they do that?
So you can go on our website, you can go to the Donate Now button. You can identify it as a pledge towards Circle of Life Breakfast. We also have the actual event page still up, which is circleoflifebreakfast2021.org, and it will just bring you right to the page.
Sue, thank you so much for your time today. I really appreciate it. And thank you for the work that both you and all of your staff do for the many females and families that are out there. So thank you.